Hi everyone, Uncle Kage here, but you probably already knew that. First off, I want to thank you very, very much for your dedication to Anthrocon by willing to be a staff member this year. We are going to be short on staff, and never before in our history have your contributions been so needed or so appreciated. I'm making this video because in the past I've tried to have Thursday night meetings, but by then everybody's so tired they just want the old man to shut up so they can go to sleep. I've tried putting inserts into the staff packets, but you look in, there's a wall of text. I'm busy, I'll read this later. So I figured I'd make this video. You can watch it at your leisure. Hopefully it'll be a short video. As you know, I am a man of very, very few words and never rattle on any longer than is necessary. So I'll try to keep it very, very short. And I think I've learned how to divide it into chapters. So if there's something that gets too boring, I think you can skip ahead. But please don't. There might be a pearl of wisdom in there somewhere. Also, this video is for internal use only. This is not intended to entertain the public. This is privileged information, business confidential information, so kindly do not share the link to this video outside of the staff of Anthrocon. Firstly, when you arrive, we are not having folk go to convention operations this year. This is new. We are going to have you go to the street entrance to Hall D. If you look at this this map that I have drawn all by myself, here is the entrance to Hall D. If you are walking into the convention center on the west side, that's the left side as you head toward the river, this set of doors just before the entrance to the lobby, that is where the entrance to the building will be. That is also where our COVID-19 document check will be. We'll cover that in just a moment. This year, we are making that the only entrance to the building where someone can go in without a badge. All other building entrances will be Anthrocon badge holders only. So this will be a single point of entry. If you should see someone in the building without a badge, please escort them immediately to convention operations or directly down to Hall D. Please don't just tell them, hey, you need to go down to Hall D. They're not going to. See to it that they get down there. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can grab a member of the safety staff. They're going to be in 308 across from operations, which is in 309. You can have another staff member do it. You can look for a director. We've got black ribbons this year with the gold lettering on them, or you can get me. But if somebody is inside without a badge, that means they've not gone through our COVID testing check. Regarding that COVID testing check, this is something that we are praying we only have to do this year. We are requiring that folks show us proof of vaccination or proof of a recent negative COVID test, either a rapid antigen test taken less than a day ago or a PCR test taken less than 72 hours ago. That will be done in Hall D before folks can get a badge. If you are one of the folks who are volunteering to do the document check, please remember, we are not detectives, we are not police. It's not our job to examine every single document in infinite detail to try to determine if it's a forgery. Our job is to give it a quick glance, make sure it's the same name as the name on the ID, make sure that it has the required number of vaccinations, and make sure there's nothing blatantly obvious that would be a red flag. Send them on in. Are there going to be people who try to game the system? Probably. There always will be. So the only thing we can do is our best to try to minimize that. As staff members, it is vitally important that we set a good example. We are requiring everyone in the Westin and the Convention Center to wear a mask when they are not in dedicated eating and drinking areas. And like they say on the CDC website, neck gaiters and bandanas, those are not considered masks. So we must wear our masks. And if we see someone who is not wearing a mask, or they're wearing their mask incorrectly, if they're doing the chin diaper thing, if they're doing whatever the hell this is called, if they're doing blind man's bluff, I don't know. There's all sorts of ways people have come up with wearing these things. You don't need to rush up to them with a brickbat. Just a very, very simple wave to them and something like that. 99% of the time, it's going to be all that's necessary to get them to say, oh, right, yes, and they will fix it. There is always the question about what do we do with fursuiters? We want fursuiters to wear masks under their fursuit heads. We simply do not have the capacity to check every single fursuit to make sure every single person is masked underneath. We have no choice but simply to take people's word for it. We have contracted with an outside agency to provide on-site COVID testing. We are fairly certain that someone is going to show up who hasn't gotten the memo, or someone who doesn't understand what a certified test is, and they'll have a cell phone photo of a negative test card, which will not be sufficient. We don't want to turn these folks away. We have this organization that will be set up for only a couple hours each day, but they will be present Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Hall D. There will be a charge for this service. That'll be covered elsewhere under another video. We have not announced this publicly because we don't want people just to rely on that entirely and show up and say, oh, I can just get the test on site. Why? We've already paid for these tests, and we don't want there to be a big run so that we wind up with a huge bill when all this is done. This is a stopgap measure, and Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we will not have to stop the gap that much. Anthrocon is, above everything else, part of the service industry. We are a service corporation. When people come to us, they expect us to be cordial, they expect us to smile, they expect us to be polite. That can be difficult. There are many, many stresses out there. We all want to do a good job. We all want this to be the best convention that we can make it. There are times when somebody may be dancing on our last nerve, and the temptation will be strong to roll your eyes impatiently, or to snap back at them with a witty comeback, or an impatient comment, or to lunge at them with your hands about their throats, wanting to snap their necks. Please do not do any of the above, because one wrong word, one impatient look to the wrong person at the wrong time can set up a social media firestorm that we may not survive. So I know it's going to be tough. You need to keep your cool. You need to keep smiling. That does not mean you have to take abuse. If somebody's being abusive, give them a smile and bump it up to your department lead, to a director. We've got several levels of management, and we are all very, very dedicated to the idea of de-escalating these situations. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. And again, this is just between us. Keep it in the family, if you will. I've got this reputation for rushing around Anthrocon, and it's always totally stressed. He is major stress and all that. Um, there actually is a rationale behind that. And I don't want the general public to know, but in general, when that happens, that is play acting. Remember, I'm an actor, I'm an entertainer. Um, I know the public. I also know that when stuff is hitting the fan, the public can sometimes get in the faces of the staff members who are trying very hard to fix whatever's broken and wind up impeding those efforts. That's where I come in. I'm the distraction. I've joked about this in the past, made it sound like it's just a silly story, but it is true. My job when things get tough is to make sure people are looking over here and staying out of your way while you guys are fixing what needs to be fixed. Lord knows I'm not going to know how to fix it. In fact, that's what this is all about. This comes from poking my nose into the affairs of the other directors. I've learned my lesson. I'm going to try not to do it this year. We get a lot of people who want to bring their dogs to Anthrocon. We have a no pets policy. However, because of the Americans with Disabilities Act, we are required to allow people to bring service dogs. Unfortunately, we live in a society where there are far too many people who seem to think that this is somehow acceptable. The Americans with Disabilities Act protects service dogs and their owners from discrimination. It also protects businesses from people trying to game that system. A service dog is expected to behave no different from a human being. If the service dog is misbehaving, we can ask it to leave, even as we would ask a person to leave. Let's say, for example, that you have a dog with a service dog vest and another dog with a service dog vest over here, and what do you wind up getting? Nom, 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 bark, bark, nom, nom, nom. That's a problem. Here is the rule that I want you to remember. It is very, very simple. If someone has a dog and it is not causing a problem, if it's sitting quietly and behaving itself, leave it alone. I don't care if we've got a no pets policy. If it's not a problem, don't make it a problem. If, however, that dog is tugging at the leash, if it's lunging at people, if it's barking incessantly, if it's taking a dump on the floor of the dealer's room, we are well within our right to ask the person to take that animal off site, even if it is a service dog. What I would like you to do, if you see a dog that is clearly causing a problem, you are authorized directly by me to say to the person, I'm sorry, I need you to take the animal off the premises and return without it. It is clearly not under your immediate control. If they give you back talk, or if you're not comfortable saying that, ask another staff member to help, bump it up to a director, to a department head. We are well within our right to protect other attendees from getting bitten, to keep that loud barking out of the building, to keep the crap off the floor. If you are concerned, if somebody says, you can't do that, it's a service dog, I will call my lawyer. Guess what? We got lawyers too. If somebody wants to pull that, send them up to operations, room 309. We have folk that would very, very happily discuss the matter with them. There is always a question that comes up, what can I do if I'm not sure if the dog is a service dog? It should not matter. As I said, whether it's got the little vest on or not, if it's not causing a problem, let it be. If it is causing a problem, get rid of it. It doesn't matter if it's a service dog or not. However, for reference, if the question must be asked, remember, the ADA is very specific about this. You may not ask the person, are you handicapped? You may not ask the person, what is your handicap? That's a problem. Don't ever say that. You are allowed to ask two questions when it comes to a service dog. Is this animal a service dog that is required due to a disability? And what task is this animal trained to perform related to that disability? Guess what? It calms me down when I'm upset is not a defined task. The ADA specifically excludes comfort animals. So if somebody comes in with their companion Cerberus, and that companion Cerberus is taking 3 separate dumps on the floor of the art show, whether it is a service dog, whether it's a companion animal, you got to ask them to take it outside and come back without it. If you have any questions about the service dog policy, you can come by operations. We will explain it further. In sum, dog not a problem, dog not a problem. Let it be. Dog a problem, ask them to take it outside because it is not under their direct control. The ADA is very, very clear. A service dog must be under the owner's direct control at all times. If it is not, it's got to go. This is something we're very excited about. Weather permitting, after the fursuit parade, we are shutting down Penn Avenue and turning it into essentially a pedestrian promenade. We're calling it the Fursuit Block Party. Fursuits and just general attendees can go out there, hang out with the people of Pittsburgh, mingle, have fun, visit the restaurants and the bars up until 9 p.m. We're expecting, we're expecting a couple of food trucks, an ice cream vendor, and a cinnamon bun vendor. I'm going to be giving them wet naps just so fursuits don't get. There will be portable toilets out there at the other end of the block. Boy, shopping for those was interesting. I never knew I'd have to become an expert on portable toilets. But anyway, that will be going on officially from noon to 9. This is the first year we've tried something like this. We're kind of hoping it's successful because we would like to make that an annual event. Again, weather permitting, if there is monsoon rain or if they're expecting 110-degree temperatures, we may have to call it off. We'll do our best to make that decision by, I'm hoping, Thursday at the very latest. I've already been in touch with the AccuWeather meteorologists in Pittsburgh and told them that we're going to have good, clear skies and mild temperatures that day, aren't we? We're always reminding our attendees about the 6-2-1 rule. That's very important, and it applies to you too, more so. 6 hours of sleep, 2 good square meals, 1 shower. This is for your health. This is to keep you going. This is because we care about you. This is because we don't want you to die. That would be a downer. We are grateful for people who are dedicated. We appreciate your desire to want to work a 48-hour shift. Oh, I saved the convention. I worked through the entire day. Please don't do that. We appreciate it, but we don't want it. We don't want you putting your health in jeopardy for us. We'll find a way around it if there's going to be a staffing shortage. Don't do that to yourself. Don't go without food. We are offering all staff members a buffet dinner on Sunday evening at 8 p.m., hopefully after we're all done packing up. We're looking to have that on the rooftop of the convention center. There is a covered area now. Don't worry about that. Also, in your staff packet, you will find a pair of coupons, one for Pizza Parma and one for a brand new concession area that we are setting up in the concourse outside of Hall B. That's where registration had been in previous years, where that coupon is good for $5 off a meal. And Levy Restaurants, who runs that, is also offering a little coupon for 20% off in addition. You'll find this in your staff packet as well. They've sent me one for every staff member. And it says, Anthrocon staff at 20% off coupon, food and non-alcoholic beverages. So I did try, but they were pretty specific about that. So it's good for food and like water if you're into that kind of stuff. So again, please take care of yourself, eat, make sure you stay hydrated, get your sleep. We value your work, and we want to make sure we're going to see you again next year. We don't anticipate having reporters coming into the convention center and wandering around because we now have that access control. They would have to go through registration to get into the building. If by some far out reason you do see somebody who is obviously a member of the media who does not have a staff member with them and who does not have some sort of very, very large sign around their neck that says media no escort required, please go up to them and ask them if they could kindly accompany you to room 309 operations, and we will certainly get them an escort. Outside is outside. There's really not too much we can do about that. We just hope that the folks that the media are talking to outside don't have orange hair. If you don't know what that's about, buy me a glass of wine at the con and I'll tell you a story. We're going to be a little bit slim on safety staff this year. We're trying to get away from the word security and emphasize the safety aspect. We are increasing the presence of uniformed and non-uniformed Pittsburgh police officers. The Allegheny County Sheriff's deputies will be back in the Westin helping us this year, and we will have a contingent of police officers patrolling during the block party outside to help keep everybody safe, help keep everybody happy. If you should see a security incident, please do not try to handle it yourself. We don't want anybody getting dragged into matters. Call for a security person, call for a safety person, I'm sorry. If you see one of the police officers, please go and get them. The last thing we want is somebody getting hurt. As I have said before, we do value your input to Anthrocon, and it would really make us feel bad if you got hurt on our behalf. So please, look to your safety first. We live in an era where empires can rise and fall based on what is said on social media. Some people consider this a great step forward. Others consider it a terrible step backward for civilization. I will not engage in that debate. What I will say is that the wrong word at the wrong time in the wrong thread can take us down. If you see something on social media that you think needs to be addressed, do not address it yourself, please. Do not answer the question. Do not challenge whatever they're saying. Do not say, yeah, but. We have a social media team that is very, very highly experienced and trained to deal with these things in a very delicate fashion, which they often require. So please bring it to the attention of a director. You can send a note to social-media@anthrocon.org. Let somebody know. Don't wade into the fire yourself, because you will very likely get burned by it. If you're staying in the Westin this year, you might notice a sign in the lobby that says, "Please do not take luggage carts onto the elevators." You might also notice that the luggage carts are nowhere to be seen. When those elevators get very, very packed, nothing is more heart-wrenching than to see somebody drag a heavily laden luggage cart onto an elevator car, preventing 6 to 8 other people from getting on so that they can have a private ride up to their room. It's not fair. We have a very, very eager Bell staff that is standing by waiting to help. If somebody has a luggage cart in the Westin, or rather something that belongs on a luggage cart, they can go to the Bell staff. The Bell staff will take their material up to the hotel room for them. A small gratuity is appreciated in that instance, but this is yet another attempt that we are putting out there to try to keep those elevators moving as efficiently as possible. In sum, this is looking so far like this may be our largest and hopefully most successful year yet, our grand return to Pittsburgh after the long absence. There will be challenges. There's going to be stresses. I wish I could give you the assurance everything's going to run perfectly. I think we all know by now that the only thing we can expect is that the unexpected is going to happen. I've said this many times before, and I do mean this quite sincerely. If anybody can handle stuff when it comes up, it's you guys out there. We have rules in place. Remember, all of those rules by necessity can be fluid. In many cases, we are going to count on you to use your best judgment. And I am absolutely confident that your best judgment is really going to be the best judgment that can be leveled for any situation. Remember, the senior staff, the directors, the chairman, everybody out there, we are there to back you up. If there's something that comes up that you need help with, for goodness sake, call us. We will do whatever needs to be done together. And together, we will get through this very, very challenging year. And, I am really looking forward to seeing the looks on the faces of the people of Pittsburgh and of the what might be 10,000 attendees of Anthrocon at closing ceremonies when they say, "My God, it is so good to be back."